All right, thank you, Mike. It's time to go on the docket with attorney John Partick Dolan as he breaks down all your legal news. Welcome, John.
Morning, Talia.
Thank you. Today we are talking about that case in Tennessee where parents named their child Messiah, but the judge changed the name. How did this happen?
Weird story. Well, apparently the parents went before the judge because they're not married and they wanted to establish a legal name that included both of their last names. And when the judge saw that, she looked at the first name and saw Messiah and said, "You're not going to name your kid Messiah." A little overreaching for a judge to do that. She explained this by saying there's only one Messiah, that's Jesus Christ, and therefore you can't name your kid Messiah, which would have an interesting impact on the Jewish people who think that the Messiah hadn't quite got here yet. And frankly, it's way beyond the bounds of what judges should be doing. So I imagine if they appeal this, appellate court's going to tell the judge, stick to your knitting and stay away from telling people what they can name their children.
Okay, but it's not illegal.
It's not illegal for a judge. I mean, not illegal in the sense of a criminal offense. It's probably illegal in the sense of what are the boundaries for a judge and what a judge has authority to do. So frankly, it's a problem that'll be resolved pretty quick. On the other hand, it's one of those separation of church and state examples where you say, what's going on here and why is this judge thinking this? And I understand that people have religious beliefs and there's nothing wrong with that, but that should not be impacting a judge's decision making.
Excellent. And it did get national and even world attention. People were outraged by this story.
It did.
Let's move on to the next discussion about American Airlines merging with United Airways.
Well, you know what's going on. There's a lot of
Airways.
Consolidation in the airline industry, and this is sort of the last big consolidation. If American and US Air come together, it'll be the biggest airline in the country with the most employees. What's happening is 6 states, the District of Columbia, and now the Attorney General of the United States is objecting to this merger. They're saying that it's cutting down on the options for consumers, and frankly, for those of us who fly, we're starting to notice the fact that prices are going up, special fees for your bags, et cetera, are going up, and so there's a question about competition and antitrust. It'll be interesting to see whether or not it happens because Americans in bankruptcy, and part of coming out of bankruptcy was this merger. If they are not allowed to make the merger, it'll be interesting to see the impact that it has on, I think, over 100,000 employees at American Airlines.
Certainly will. Now let's get to that good news.
The good news!
The good news. Let's talk good news.
The California Desert Trial Academy College of Law, there you are, our law school, is in its first year, and as of last June 25th, we just took something called the baby bar exam. That's the bar exam that has to be taken by new schools like ours and correspondence schools, et cetera, and it's what allows people to continue their legal education and eventually take the big bar, as we call it in California.
Right.
The traditional passage rate is about 20%. Our students, 10 out of 13 passed, which is about 77%. It's the highest passing rate for the baby bar in the state of California, so we're very proud of our students.
Awesome. And
Indeed.
why do you think that happened?
Well, probably because we're just brilliant teachers. Actually, we have a process where we teach students how to do what's necessary so that they can pass the baby bar exam. In the past, it's sort of been looked down on, the idea that you would actually teach to the exam. In fact, a lot of law schools would say, well, that's just sort of lowbrow. Frankly, we said, if you have to pass the baby bar and the bar exam to be a lawyer, why not teach people how to pass the baby bar exam and the bar exam? And at least on this first try, we were quite successful, and hopefully we'll be able to keep up the track record.
All right, so if you want to be part of the brilliant baby bars, go to the information on your screen. John Partick Dolan, thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure.
Indeed,
and
indeed.
And we will see you next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, indeed.
All right, time now 27 past the hour. We'll have this morning's top news stories just ahead. Stay with us. You're watching KMIR 6 Today.